What if I told you that the thing holding you back from the life you want isn't the world around you, but the expectations you've set for yourself? Let that sink in for a moment. What if the biggest obstacle you face is the one you've created in your own mind? The expectations you set, those ideals of success, of what your life should look like, are they truly yours? Or are they a product of external influences, past disappointments, or fears of failure? It's time to face a harsh reality. The weight of unrealistic expectations is keeping you stuck. You see, we're often our own worst enemy when it comes to expectations. We put pressure on ourselves to achieve perfection, to be everything to everyone, to meet standards that are unattainable. And in doing so, we set ourselves up for frustration and disappointment. What if instead of being defined by these expectations, you could free yourself from them? What would your life look like if you stopped letting your own standards dictate your happiness? That's what we'll talk about today. The core message today is simple yet powerful. Expectations, especially unrealistic ones, are an invisible prison. They limit your potential, hold you in a cycle of stress, and rob you of your joy. Each time you fail to meet them, you reinforce feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. But here's the truth. Freedom begins when you recognize this burden for what. Breaking free from the weight of these expectations is the first step to reclaiming your power. You don't have to keep living up to these pressures. The moment you let go of them, you allow space for growth, peace, and self-acceptance. By the end of this speech, you will understand that you are not a victim of your own expectations. You have the power to redefine them, to set healthy standards that push you forward without chaining you to perfection. It's time to stop being a prisoner to the beliefs and limitations you've accepted as truth. Today marks the beginning of a journey where you regain control over your life. You will break free from the expectations that hold you back, and in doing so, you'll create a life that is truly yours, one filled with freedom and fulfillment. In the coming moments, we'll explore the real damage caused by unrealistic expectations. We'll dive deep into the emotional toll they take and how they prevent you from living fully. But don't worry, this isn't just about highlighting the problem. We'll also look at how to shift your mindset and practical ways to set healthy expectations that empower you to grow. By the end of this, you'll walk away with not just the knowledge but the tools to live without the constant weight of unattainable standards. Expectations are a part of life. They are the standards and beliefs we hold about how things should unfold, how we should behave, what we should achieve, or what we expect from others. But here's the catch. These expectations aren't always aligned with reality. They are often influenced by past experiences, societal pressures, and our own desires for security and perfection. Think about it. How many times have you set expectations based on what you were supposed to do or what others expected from you? Let me tell you something. Expectations are like walls. You think they protect you, that they keep you safe. You set a goal that seemed out of reach. Did you feel like you were constantly failing to meet it, even when you put in your best effort? That's the burden of unrealistic expectations. They don't just hold you back, they tear you down. When your expectations are set too high, you are setting yourself up for failure. You create a scenario where you feel like you're never enough, no matter how much you accomplish. The worst part? This cycle of constant dissatisfaction leaves you feeling stuck in a never-ending loop of self-doubt. Unmet expectations are like emotional bombs. They cause anxiety, disappointment, and resentment. You set a goal, but when it doesn't happen the way you imagine, you're left with a bitter taste in your mouth. You feel angry, frustrated, and often you turn that anger inward. Why can't I get it right, you ask yourself. You begin to resent not just the situation but yourself and the people around you. Think about it. How many times has the weight of unfulfilled expectations led to an emotional breakdown, or worse, a sense of numbness? I've seen it happen and I've felt it myself. The worst part is, it's all self-inflicted. These unrealistic standards aren't helping you, they're hurting you, and it's time to change that narrative. The cycle of unmet expectations is dangerous. It becomes a self-sabotaging loop. Each time you fail to meet your expectations, your self-esteem takes a hit. You start thinking you're not good enough, or that you'll never succeed. As a result, you stop trying. You set the bar so high that it becomes impossible to jump over, and instead of taking action, you retreat. What happens next? The cycle continues. You set new expectations, but they're just as unrealistic as the last. You begin to believe you are incapable of achieving anything because of the weight of your expectations. The trap is set, but here's the truth. You can break free from this cycle. You can choose to step off the hamster wheel and redefine what success looks like for you. Here's the turning point. You control your expectations. They don't have to control you unless you let them. It's time to take full ownership of the expectations you've been setting for yourself. Recognize that no one else is responsible for how you feel, only you are. Let me tell you something. Taking responsibility for your expectations is the key to freedom. You have the power to set them, and you also have the power to adjust them when they no longer serve you. When you set your expectations, you also set the stage for your own fulfillment or misery. Think about that for a moment. Every expectation you set comes with the power to shape your emotional world. By taking responsibility, you take back control of your emotional experience. It's time to stop being a victim and start being the architect of your own future. It's time to shift the focus. Let go of perfection and embrace progress. This is where the real magic happens. Perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist. Growth, however, is real, and progress is something you can always achieve. Instead of setting yourself up for failure with an unattainable vision of perfection, focus on the small steps, the incremental growth, and the lessons learned along the way. Think about expectations like a compass. They should guide you, not trap you. When you're focused on progress, you make room for mistakes and setbacks. And guess what? Those mistakes, they're just as valuable as your successes because they teach you something new. Share the story of someone who shifted their focus from perfection to progress and found a deeper sense of fulfillment. This is where things get exciting. When you stop clinging to rigid expectations, you open up space for possibility. You replace pressure with freedom. When you let go of unrealistic expectations, you stop feeling boxed in by the need for perfection. You start seeing new opportunities and you feel empowered to explore them. When you release the pressure of unrealistic expectations, you make space for freedom and learning. This is where true growth happens. You stop being afraid of failure and instead you start embracing new challenges. By shifting from pressure to possibility, you give yourself permission to create, to experiment, and to learn. The doors of opportunity swing wide open and you're finally free to walk through them without fear. Let me ask you something. How many times have you set expectations for yourself only to fall short? You know the feeling, the constant disappointment that follows, the crushing weight of your unmet expectations. It's like climbing a mountain of your own making, only to find another peak waiting for you, one that you can never quite reach. You climb and climb, but the summit is always just out of reach, and no matter how far you go, it feels like you're not getting any closer to the life you imagined. This cycle of perpetual disappointment isn't just emotionally exhausting, it's mentally draining too. The truth is, living in this state of constant letdown keeps you stuck. You're forever chasing something that's unattainable. You're setting yourself up for failure with every unrealistic goal, every lofty expectation. And here's the worst part. As you keep climbing, your confidence erodes, and you begin to doubt your ability to succeed. The real damage isn't just in the unmet goals, it's in the emotional toll it takes on your self-worth. Now, let's talk about relationships. Unrealistic expectations don't just impact you, they ripple out, affecting everyone around you. When you expect perfection from others, whether it's from a partner, friend, or family member, you are setting them up for failure, too. Think about it. Expecting the sun to rise in the west will only leave you disappointed with the light it provides. No one can live up to unattainable standards, and the more you impose those expectations, the more strained your relationships become. What happens when you place those impossible standards on others? You'll never be satisfied, and they'll feel as though they can't measure up no matter what they do. This leads to frustration, resentment, and emotional distance. Love and connection become conditional on meeting these impossible demands. And before you know it, your relationships are built on a shaky foundation, one that is constantly being tested by unrealistic expectations. Here's the hard truth. When your self-worth is based on meeting someone else's expectations, you lose sight of who you truly are. You stop valuing yourself for your character, for your actions, for your essence. Instead, you begin to measure your worth by how well you meet the standards set by others, and when those standards are always changing, or worse, impossible to meet, you'll always come up short. Think about it. How many times have you relied on external validation to feel good about yourself? When your value is based on what others think or what you accomplish, you're constantly running on empty, looking for validation from people who may never give it to you. It's a dangerous cycle that leaves you feeling empty inside, always striving for approval, never truly content with who you are. Let's talk about the physical and emotional toll of trying to meet excessive expectations. Constantly striving for goals that aren't aligned with your true self will drain you, not just emotionally but physically. Stress becomes your constant companion. You feel it in your shoulders, in your chest, in your gut. The pressure to meet unrealistic expectations keeps piling up, and you can't breathe under the weight of it. Chasing an unrealistic dream doesn't just drain your energy, it takes away your ability to enjoy the journey. The more you try to meet those unattainable goals, the further away you get from true happiness. You end up burned out, emotionally and physically spent. And worse, when you burn out, you stop taking risks, you stop growing, you stop believing that the life you want is even possible. But the truth is, it's not the expectations that are killing you, it's the false belief that you need to meet them to be valuable. The first step to breaking free from the prison of unrealistic expectations is awareness. Ask yourself, what expectations have I been carrying that no longer serve me? Recognizing where your expectations have led you is the first step toward regaining control. Have they led to disappointment, frustration, or burnout? Have they made you feel like you're not good enough no matter what you do? Awareness is the foundation for change. You need to take a hard look at your life and identify where your expectations are holding you back. It's not enough to wish things were different. You need to be honest with yourself. So let's do that together. Think of the last time you felt disappointed or defeated. What expectations did you set for yourself? Did you set them because they were true to your heart, or because of something you thought you should be achieving? By taking a moment to reflect, you empower yourself to make a real shift. Here's where the real transformation begins. Letting go of perfectionism. Perfectionism is an illusion. You can chase it your whole life, but it will always be just out of reach. Growth, on the other hand, is real. Progress is attainable. Let go of the impossible and embrace the possible. When you stop aiming for perfection, you give yourself the space to grow. Remember, growth doesn't happen in a straight line. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, but it's real, and it's the only path to true success. Perfectionism keeps you stuck in a cycle of fear and failure. When you embrace imperfection, you free yourself to take risks, to learn from your mistakes, and to move forward with confidence. Now, let's talk about setting realistic expectations for both yourself and others. This is where you take back your power. Set expectations that challenge you, but also give you room to breathe. Expectations should push you forward but not break you. Break down larger goals into smaller, achievable steps. This allows you to celebrate every victory, no matter how small, and keeps you motivated along the way. In relationships, set expectations that allow room for growth, respect, and understanding. Stop expecting perfection from others. Instead, focus on mutual support and growth. Healthy relationships thrive when you let go of the need to control and start embracing the beauty of imperfection in others. A growth mindset is crucial to breaking free from the burden of unrealistic expectations. Failure is not a setback, it's a stepping stone. When you embrace failure, you stop being afraid of it. You stop letting it define your worth. Failure is a part of life. It's how we learn, how we grow, and how we move forward. When you stop fearing failure, you stop being controlled by the weight of your expectations. Embrace your mistakes. They're part of your journey. The more you embrace failure, the more you'll grow. And when you grow, you start achieving things that once seemed impossible. The only failure is in not trying, in not learning, in not growing. Finally, practice self-compassion. Stop judging yourself based on unrealistic standards. You're human, you make mistakes, you fall down, but you get up. And that's the most important thing. Treat yourself with the love and patience you deserve. You're human. Stop judging yourself based on unrealistic standards. Treat yourself with the love and patience you deserve. When you make a mistake, say to yourself, I'm learning, I'm growing. Be kind to yourself. The more you practice self-compassion, the less power unrealistic expectations will have over you. Imagine living a life without the constant pressure to meet unrealistic expectations. Picture yourself waking up each day free from the burden of perfection, free from the guilt of falling short. That freedom is possible. When you let go of perfection, you open yourself up to real happiness, one that's rooted in authenticity, not achievement. Letting go of these expectations doesn't mean giving up on goals. It means giving yourself the freedom to fail, to learn, and to grow. It means enjoying the journey, not just the destination. This freedom will bring peace to your heart and joy to your soul. The key to fulfillment is self-acceptance. It's about embracing who you are, flaws and all. When you stop pretending to be someone you're not, you step into your true power. The key to fulfillment is not trying to be something you're not. It's embracing who you are and living boldly. Self-acceptance is about recognizing your value, your worth, and your potential. You don't need anyone else's approval to be great. You are already enough. When you accept yourself, you free yourself to live the life you truly deserve. When you let go of unrealistic expectations, your relationships can thrive. You stop demanding perfection from others, and instead you offer love, understanding, and respect. In relationships, love and understanding replace control and perfection, creating a safe space for both people to thrive. This is how deep, meaningful connections are built. When you embrace the imperfection in yourself and others, you create space for growth and mutual support. The pressure melts away, and you start building relationships that are based on love, not on meeting impossible standards. Lastly, let go of the need to constantly rush to the finish line. The joy of life is in the journey. The joy of life is in the journey. Stop waiting for the destination to feel fulfilled. Enjoy where you are right now. Embrace the present moment. Celebrate every small victory, every lesson learned, and every step you take toward becoming the best version of yourself. Let me tell you this, you are not a victim of your own expectations. You have the power to stop being a victim of your own expectations. Take back your life, take back your power. You are the creator of your own happiness. You can choose to let go of unrealistic goals, to stop measuring your worth against impossible standards. It's time to choose freedom. Choose authenticity. Choose to live life on your own terms. Stop letting unattainable expectations dictate your happiness. Take control of your journey and start living the life you truly deserve. The life you want is waiting for you. It's time to stop holding yourself back. You have the power to choose freedom, fulfillment, and joy. Let go of unrealistic expectations, embrace who you are, and start living the life you've always dreamed of. It's time to step into your potential today.